Okay. I'll have it here. So basically, main topic for today is we'll go through the trades we had, and then we'll talk about imbalance and liquidity, and then we'll have the forecast for the week that we're looking at. So for me personally, this was a really nice trade on GJ. We talked about this before, so we had the breaker structure or the change of character to the upside. Then we had the 15-minute breaker structure, the internal breaker structure return. This would have been a really nice entry. Like this would have been perfect, but I felt like I'd already missed it up here. So I entered here. A little bit less RR, but it is what it is. We'll take it. And then when was this? Was this Friday? Yeah, it was. So this really nice short one. Probably could have held it a little bit longer. Probably should have, but nice, nice little trade there. Then did we take Euro USD as well? This one, yeah, negative, so 1% there. It was pretty good week. I think I finished on 15 plus, which is nice. But in terms of imbalance, we used it a lot actually in the last couple of weeks because so this is what imbalance is. Imbalance basically for everyone that's watching, if you have the way you find imbalance is three candles. So you look at the three candles that you have. It doesn't matter if they're red or green or bullish or bearish. And the wicks, there's a helicopter flying above. I'll let it go. Okay. Yeah, okay. So if you look at these wicks, right, we have, you can tell this area, we have the three candles. This area has all been buyers. There's a bullish candle. There's all been buyers. Very little chance for sellers to get in, right? That's why we call it an imbalance because there was way more buyers than there are sellers. So ideally, the concept is that eventually price will retrace and fill this imbalance with sellers. So technically price will come down and then fill this zone with sellers, right? So we have a idea of direction. That's what imbalance basically gives us. So with this trade, how do you know it's going to come down? Well, you have a couple of reasons, right? One, we just had a change of character. After a change of character, what do we expect? A retracement. Okay. Now, how far is it going to retrace? We don't really know. But what do we have? We have an imbalance, right? Typically, if you can see here, as soon as this imbalance is filled, we see price get weaker and weaker. We have this 4-hour demand zone as well. So already there, you can tell price is eventually going to come down to this zone, fill this zone, right? We created this change of character to the upside. We already have two confluences as to why we should look for sells and not buys, right? This is the same thing as liquidity. Liquidity is just people here. Liquidity to me is just people playing mind games to like justify trades. But this concept is still pretty valid. Imbalance is pretty easy to find. So you have, that's not what I wanted. So imbalance here. There's imbalances everywhere, right? That's you have, if you look for it, they're just like fair value gaps. They're everywhere. Don't just solely rely on them. But for directional bias, absolutely. For entering trades, absolutely. Now, second thing with liquidity is you guys probably have seen something like this. So, or something like this. And then you've got this. I know you used it a couple of times, Zach, and you're pretty comfortable with it, looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But essentially this is what we call liquidity, right? There's orders here, people have stop losses, limit orders, whatever. They're all in this zone here, right? We've tempted, essentially the concept is price has tempted people in and now you wipe that stop loss out, you collect orders from this area here to continue upwards. So people will mark it out like this to say, okay, we have more confidence that this zone will get tapped into or mitigated because we essentially faked out, quote unquote, a portion of the market, right? So if you ever see something like this, which probably looks, if we can find it, maybe not. In the moment, it's pretty easy to find, but yeah, it's pretty hard to find. Like you can get shocking examples. Like if we were to go down to a 3-minute time frame or a lower time frame, it'll look something like this. So we have our breaker structure, right? Now we have our zone here as well. You can imagine if price, this is kind of a bad example, but if price was to do something like this, then you can tell, okay, there's liquidity here. We are about to tap into this zone soon. So price will move up and then come down. So it's pretty easy to find liquidity in this area here. Honestly, if I'm being fully honest, liquidity, it's good to mark it out. Main thing I'd rely on is imbalance, just because I find this is what helps the most. It's very easy to identify as well. And I'll have a section coming out on marking out imbalances. It'll make it a little bit easier in the Discord. So I'll put that out this week. So look out for that. Do you guys have any questions so far?
Yes, yes, I have written down some questions, but there are a lot. So, starting from time frames, uh, personally, I use daily 4 hours M15 and M3 for entries.
Yeah.
And so, and what frame do you use for your
For
indices
entry?
and entries? For
Um,
both indices and entries.
for what entry, sorry?
Uh, like normal entries, how do you enter your trades? Like simple chunk, or do you have any specific entry models or what?
Yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about entry models as well. Let me get it up. So I'll have it here. I was meaning to put this on. So for continuation, so higher time frame. Sorry. For higher time frame, normally we look at is the 4-hour zone. So if we're saying, okay, this is a good example that we marked out pretty live yesterday, right? So for GJ, this is a good example of everything. So what we say is, okay, so there's liquidity created here, right? We've induced this zone, basically. Now, if this is a continuation trade, this is on the 4-hour. What I'm looking for is, for the continuation, a 15-minute change of character, right? So I'll enter looking off this, right? So if I see a 15-minute change of character like we did probably here, I was in bed. But, oh, was I? No, I just wasn't on my desk. But a 15-minute change of character like this, more than happy to have the buy order there and like that, right? So I'll use the 15-minute change of character for those higher time frame trades. But for the 3-minute entry, what I would like this to happen. So we have our 15-minute change of character, and then what we see is a 3-minute continuation. So this, see how this didn't come to the top and create this breaker structure? So what I'd like is price to go up and come back down to the zone to take a buy like that. This is my ideal setup. And then you aim for probably up here for a nice 1 to 8 trade, 1 to 8, 1 to 9 trade. So for higher risk reward, I'll use the 3-minute continuation for continuation trades. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And then for my counter trend trades is when I want to be extra sure. So I don't want to just gamble off the fact that maybe we have a change of character, right? What I look for is a 3-minute change of character. So something like this. I want everything to line up ideally, right? So we have our supply zone, we have a 15-minute change of character, then we have a 3-minute change of character, right? It always obviously depends on the scenario. If we have a really nice, so the failure of this zone, what am I looking at? So a failure of this zone. Why? Because this is a demand zone failure, right? Essentially change of character. Now this trade, you can absolutely take it like that, because were you there last time? So we talked about this. So this concept that we went up, went down, and then we tried to come back up and create this break of structure, but we couldn't. So what does that tell us? We didn't have enough buyers in this zone to complete this whole move, right? So in this kind of scenario, I'd be fine with taking this 15-minute change of character. Just those really high risk counter trades, I'd want an extra 3-minute. But what I recommend is for anyone, just take those continuation trades, if I'm being honest. They're the easiest to take. Just off the 15-minute. Does that make sense so far?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Did you
And
have any other
about liquidity, I had one question like, can you take me to a blank screen so I can annotate?
Can I do a blank?
Can you get move, the chat to the left side so I can annotate a little bit the blank side?
You're just like
Yes, 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 like
give
that.
you a blank like this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what I was talking about before was look, these are all concepts. So essentially the concept is, so the reason we come down for this retracement is to collect orders and continue upwards, right? You need orders to keep moving up. But what happens sometimes is we'll make a move down, we'll collect orders, move up, but then we'll run out of steam because we don't have enough orders in that move to keep going up, right? So what does price need to do? It needs to come down and collect more orders. That's exactly what happened here, right? We came down, not enough orders, went up and came straight back down. And then where's the liquidity in this? The liquidity is all through here. So all this is liquidity, right? And the only reason we need liquidity, we even care about liquidity, is to reinforce these zones, right? That's the only reason we need it, right? We have more confidence and more confidence in these zones holding if we see that they were induced. So this is inducement. This is what you call
So, what are we going to do in this type of scenario, market? If price is going like this,
yeah,
okay, and it comes for liquidity here and goes,
yeah,
okay, so the demand zone, okay. But
yeah.
what if price goes like this? There's a demand zone in it, comes and goes without no inducement, no liquidity. What to do in these type of scenarios?
This is when we have our entry model. So if we're confident in our zones, so you don't even need this. So let me get rid of this. So this is why if it's something like this, so something like this, right? We either have imbalance or we don't have anything, and that's completely fine. You don't have to take the trade, but also this is when we use our 15-minute breaker structure, right? So on the 15-minute, if we look at the continuation strategy, we have a higher time frame demand zone. So if we have our demand zone, and then we'll look for a 15-minute change of character. So you just got to be patient. That's all. That's all it is. So we'll see price go up, right? Come down like that. Then it won't happen every time, and that's why you don't have to take every trade. Come up like that, create this change of character, come down, and then we'll go up, right? Even here, you might see liquidity being induced, something like this, but it doesn't have to happen all the time. Does that make sense? So you don't have to have liquidity every time. You'll be able to find these entry models anywhere.
Okay.
But I do get what you mean. What do you do if there's no obvious signs of liquidity? Like how do you make sure the zone's valid?
Hmm.
Yes, yeah, it's really the other concept we learned. So protected low, big sign. We also talked about zones. So anything below this 50% retracement. So this is called so this area is called the golden area. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is called a fib retracement model, right? So anything below this 50% mark, we're looking for buys for a bullish point of view. Anything here, we're looking for sells, right? So look for sells through here. Anything here, we're looking for buys in this model, right? I recommend you have this set up just to look, because if price does this, right, or price does that, you can pretty well say it might come down again. Does that make sense? Because this is,
Yes.
yeah, we'll call this the discount zone, and this is the premium zone. But yeah, it depends on how you want to define it.
I use it with 50% equilibrium and let me check my second. It's
You
like
use
0.62 and 0.7. There's a guy named Andrew NFX. I follow his favorite retracement and
here,
some yes.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
not this. It's 0.62 and 0.7.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I mean, look, anything below that 0.5 level, completely valid. As long as you
In
have,
EU, I have seen a lot of times that zone getting respected.
what's
That's
that?
why I used that. 0.62 and 0.7. Do you
Yeah,
know Andrew NFX? The guy who gets banned from all prop firms.
I haven't heard of him. What's his name?
Andrew NFX.
Andrew Innovate. Have you heard of him, Zach? Andrew.
Check him up.
Innovate.
He's on YouTube and Twitter. Not most, but many prop firms don't give him his payout and ban him just because he's too aggressive. He risks like 4% in a trade just to pass them.
Yeah, right. I haven't heard of him. No, yeah. No, that's all good. So I'm glad we talked about liquidity. I'll make the next addition to the SMC or the smart money concept section on the Discord. I'll add it to that. Under liquidity engineering. I recommend you guys check those videos out as well. It's really good. From Felly. And then the weekly outlooks. So we'll have a look. Any other questions you guys had?
You were I mean, about entry models. You wanted to show entry models, right?
Yeah, so these are the entry models that are, or the entry criteria that I have. Let me have a look. Just seeing if I put it into the Discord for you guys. Oh, this is good ideas actually, the entry models and things like that. So I think I'll record a video for the entry models, Sahil, just so
Okay.
I have something prepared, and then I'll send it in the Discord. Just because I want to have some good examples ready for it, and then I'll be able to make a good video for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about our outlook for the week then. So looking at DXY, we filled this daily imbalance, right? We filled the daily imbalance. We have a change in character. Now, what are we looking at? We crossed past that. Oh, we just entered into that 0.5 zone, right? We have a demand zone here. Get out of here. We have a demand zone here. So what am I expecting? Kind of, we'll see. We'll have to wait. We could see price respect this demand zone, and then in turn see a pullback from AUD USD, which is very probable because we did have this huge change of character here, right? So AUD USD and Euro USD sells are kind of, I think, what everyone's looking at, especially since we had this failure of this zone as well. Yeah, I'd be waiting for something just below here, if I'm being honest. I'd like to see a move below here. I'll set my alert as well. To look for sells, very probable that we will get sells now. Especially since I feel like we have a little bit more to go into this zone. But eventually it'll switch. But I think given everything that we know about having a change of character like this, right? Having a change of character, having imbalance, right? We have imbalances here and here to fill. Right. I think it's very probable that we'll get sells and to look for sells on AUD USD. Okay, GJ, we've been talking about this the whole week. Buys are on the table. We had a inducement here, entered the daily demand, 4-hour chalk. Pretty simple. I think everyone's getting the hang of it now. Came back down. Very nice trade here. I'd be looking for an entry here. We'll see what happens on the Monday. And I think targets should be set up here for the week, right? Euro USD, same picture. Be waiting for a move below this level here to look for sells maybe into here. Again, we have imbalances to fill. So I'd be looking out for that. That's really it, isn't it? Is there any other pairs you guys like to go over?
No, I just choose three, and not three, just two, EU and AU.
Yeah. I've been looking at them more, mainly AU and GJ. GJ has small lot sizes, so I'm liking the commissions not being as high. All good from you, Zach? Yeah, sweet as. Pretty light session today. Because I want to do the entry model. That's a good idea as well. And then a section on liquidity that I'll do as well for the end of the week, and I'll get that for you guys. But mainly just keep in mind the idea of imbalances and using it in your entry model. Yeah, Wednesday. We'll do a live trade session Wednesday, and then should be pretty good. And hopefully maybe Friday as well. I'll try set one up Friday if we get some good movement, that is. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming today. Is there any more questions that you guys had?
Just I'm left with two questions. Just average trade in a month. How many trades does SMG traders week? And what are your thoughts about 3 to 5 pip SL and risk reward? How much
Okay.
should we target, or is there technical targets or what?
Yeah, right. That's a good question, actually. Look, for me personally, I take maybe 3 to 4 trades a week. 4 trades is my max, I think. So it works out to about 15 trades a week, 15, 16 trades a week. Sorry, a month. I I don't like trading a lot because again, it's very selective. You have to be very selective with the trades you take, or you just get addicted to that gambling, that quick money. It's very addictive.
Yeah.
Second thing with risk to reward, always risk, especially with these prop firm challenges, 0.5 or 0.25. If you really are struggling, if you're on drawdown, whatever, 0.25. But what I say is risk 0.5. You have unlimited time now. It's not a time constraint. You can take months. You won't pass a challenge in a week, right? It just won't happen. Yeah, running out of time. But it just won't happen. So risk to reward, I aim for a 1 to 4. I found 1 to 4 is perfect for me, right? That's where I'm comfortable with a 1 to 4. I'm happy with my 1 to 4 RR. If I aim for bigger, I tend to just get greedy. But I think keep that in mind, that 0.5%, and trading only max 3 to 4. You don't need to trade more than that. You just end up losing, I promise you that.
Do you have a journal?
Yeah. I've got my
I
journal
haven't seen.
template.
I'm having problem because I'm not journaling right now. No,
Yeah. I've
that's a big issue that I've seen.
I've set that up for you guys. I've got you the Notion template that I use. So if you go to the Discord
Discord? Yes.
under start here, I have Notion
Yes.
template.
There are two channels.
Pardon?
Uh, there are two channels, Notion template. Oh, one is how to.
Yeah, so it's Notion template and Notion template how to use it.
Okay, okay,
So get those. I've got that down for you. No worries, Zach. Have
okay.
a good one, bro.
Thank you.
Take care. Cool. Sounds good. I'll see you on the live then, Sahil. Even if you're not trading,
Okay. Yep.
I'll see you on the live hopefully Wednesday.
Okay. Bye.
No
Have a
worries.
great day.
Okay.